Hey, what's up you guys? It's Cole here from scoutsmarts.com, and in today's video, I want to do something really fun, which is the revamped merit badge difficulty rankings. I did this way back about 2 years ago, and now the merit badges have changed quite a bit. There's a new one, there are new requirements, and I got some great feedback from viewers like you as well, helping me to better contextualize the merit badges for other people, because my experience isn't the same as everyone else's. Obviously, all of our experience is different. So in today's merit badge difficulty rankings, I'm going to be taking all of that into account and ranking the difficulty of all 14 Eagle required merit badges, plus some of the other options. So you're going to get a great overview of all of those Eagle required merit badges before you dive into earning them. Hopefully this helps you out a ton, so let's jump into it. Hey, welcome to the inside of my computer. Now before we get started, just some mandatory disclaimers about merit badges. Merit badge difficulty is subjective. Take for instance swimming. For some scouts, swimming is the hardest badge they've earned because they don't have too much experience prior to swimming, so it's a lot of difficulty just kind of getting ramped up there. However, for other scouts who've been swimming their whole life, it's easy. So because of that, just take note that this is a general guide. However, if you have any differences in opinion, please make sure to leave your own experience down below. I'd love to hear it. All right, there you go. There's my disclaimer. Now, without further ado, let's dive into that tier list. All right, so to kick things off, first things first, why don't we start off with first aid? Now, in my opinion, first aid is one of the merit badges that scouts should be earning first. Maybe that's why they call it first aid, because by knowing first aid skills and by being able to handle emergencies on the trail or at camps, you and your fellow scouts are going to be in a much safer position. So because of that, because of first aid's importance, maybe it should be pretty high up. But the question is it difficult, right? And the thing about first aid is, it's actually not too difficult. I'd say solid B tier, and the reason for that is it mainly consists of what I like to call knowledge requirements. Now, knowledge requirements are when you need to learn a skill and demonstrate it, but they don't have you doing things over time. So because you're just doing a lot of learning how to handle different situations and apply bandages and things like that, I'm gonna rank first aid in B tier. Solid B tier is super important, but not the hardest of merit badges. Now next up, we have one of my favorite merit badges coming at you, personal fitness. Here we go, personal fitness. Now, personal fitness is actually one of the more in-depth merit badges, and it's earned by scouts who are generally at least first class, if not later on. The reason personal fitness is a bit harder is because you're going to need to track your fitness progress over the course of 3 months. Now that's a lot of tracking, which is why I'd have to say personal fitness is A tier. Outside of the tracking, it's mainly knowledge requirements, so it's not too bad. However, I think that personal fitness is one of the most important merit badges for any scout to earn, just because getting that foundation in fitness skills is so important for the real world. That's when I really started to exercise and see growth in my physical fitness. I was doing cross country at the time when I started my personal fitness merit badge, and that inspired me to work so much harder in my runs, and I eventually became one of the better runners on the team. And I have personal fitness and scouting to thank. So thank you, scouting. Personal fitness is super important, kind of difficult. I gotta give it A tier. All right, there you go. There's personal fitness. Next up, we have emergency preparedness. Now, like first aid, emergency preparedness is super important for helping out your troop, but generally scouts get this toward the middle of their scouting journey just because it's a little bit more in depth from the first aid merit badge. Earning first aid is actually a requirement for the emergency preparedness merit badge, which is why it's a little bit more in depth. However, I'd say that emergency preparedness isn't too much more difficult than first aid, especially once you have those first aid principles down. So because of that, I'd say it's a little bit more difficult, but still in B tier. Next up, we have camping. All right, so camping, this is a scout's bread and butter, and it is one of the more difficult merit badges to earn. You're gonna need 20 days of camping experience. However, if you go to a summer camp and you go camping with your troop pretty often, you'll probably get this done within a year. However, there's also knowledge requirements involved, and you're gonna need to show things to your merit badge counselor. So because of that, I'd say it's one of the harder merit badges. Maybe around A tier actually, just because of the time-based requirement and the number of camps. All right, next up we have cooking. Cooking is a super versatile merit badge because you're not only learning how to cook at home, you're also learning how to cook at camps, you're learning about nutrition, you're learning how to keep food safe. So in my opinion, this is one of the most important Eagle required merit badges. And cooking is also one of the trickiest merit badges for a lot of scouts to earn. I heard in the comments that cooking was one of the hardest for a lot of scouts. So normally I'd say it's probably the hardest in A tier, but because of what I've heard from other scouts, I'd have to say now I've changed my mind. It's S tier. Cooking is a solid S tier merit badge because of how many meals you're going to need to prepare. They also recently changed the requirements, so you're going to need to actually prepare even more meals than you did before. So it is a tricky badge, which is why S tier it goes. All right, next up, it's everyone's favorite trio. Maybe not everyone's, but I like these. It's hiking, swimming, and cycling. And also there's 2 cyclings on the tier list. Sorry. Once you add a tier list button, you can't delete it for whatever reason. Please fix that tier maker. All right, time to dive into hiking, swimming, and cycling. And personally, hiking was one of the most impactful badges for me because before starting the hiking badge, I didn't have the confidence to do anything close to 20 miles. A lot of the 10-miler hikes seem really intimidating. I'd normally only done about 5 to 7 miles on the longest stretch before that. So hiking was something new for me. Also, just needing to learn all the first aid and doing the hike reports made this a really tricky badge, which is why I would have to say, is it A tier? It's S tier. I gotta say, just because you're gonna need to be getting all of those 10-mile hikes and a 20-mile hike in, and writing those reports, it's gonna take you a long time to do hiking, which is why it is one of the hardest merit badges, in my opinion, for any scout to earn. So S tier it goes. And I think it's a little harder than cooking. So S tier up there. Swimming, on the other hand, this is for all scouts who already kind of know how to swim beforehand. I'd say that is one of the very rare C tier badges in terms of difficulty. I earned my swimming merit badge during a summer camp, and it was really a piece of cake just because they just tell you to go in the water and take your time and swim. Pretty much all the time it's in a very safe environment with a lifeguard and the ability to get out and relax and rest a bit before you do the next challenge. So I'd have to say, because of all of these factors, swimming is definitely one of the rare C tier easy merit badges, which is not a bad thing. Definitely having that swimming foundation is important, which is why ranking it as C tier. All right, cycling. Now, where does cycling go? Cycling is actually one of the trickier merit badges to earn, and it's probably the rarest out of the 3 options of swimming and hiking, just because fewer people do cycling and the cycling requirements are trickier. To do cycling, I believe the hardest requirement is a really long bike ride, maybe around 50 miles, if you're not doing the trail bike ride. Which is why I'd have to say it's just slightly easier than hiking. Unless you don't have cycling experience, then it would be harder. But I'd say that one is definitely an S tier badge. All right, now it's time for life-saving. Life-saving can be earned as an alternative to emergency preparedness. However, if you have the option, I'd recommend you earn both. Basically, to earn life-saving, you're going to be needing to do a lot of water rescues. So if you earned your swimming merit badge with ease, this would be another great merit badge to earn. Personally, my troop held a life-saving merit badge seminar where we all went to the pool and practiced these skills. So if you can do that with the aid of your troop, life-saving is going to be a breeze to earn. However, if you're needing to earn it by yourself by scheduling meetings with your merit badge counselor at a pool, it'll be much harder. So because of that, I'd say that life-saving is probably around B tier, maybe a little bit harder than emergency preparedness because it's more hands-on. But if you have that swimming background and if you can get your troop to work on it together, I'd say that it is a great merit badge to earn, and it's not too difficult too. You can earn it very quickly if you have that right condition. All right, now it's time for the citizenship merit badges, everyone's favorite. So here we have citizenship in the community, citizenship in the nation, citizenship in society, and citizenship in the world. Now, starting off with citizenship in the community, you might think that would be the easiest because it's on the smallest scale. But plot twist, surprise, it's actually, in my opinion, the hardest. So citizenship in the community has you not only learning things about your community, it has you actually going places and getting involved. So you're going to need to attend local meetings, you're going to need to give some speeches, do some research about people in your community, and really just learn more about the people that you're in the community with. I think this is a really cool merit badge. It also has you volunteering quite a bit. So because of that, I'd say it might be the hardest A tier merit badge. Citizenship in the community is no joke because of the 8 hours of community service you're gonna need to be getting. So because of that, definitely an A tier badge, possibly the hardest. Next up, citizenship in the nation. All right, so for citizenship in the nation, it's really heavy on knowledge requirements, and a lot of these topics are pretty complex. You're gonna be learning about how our government functions, from the judicial process to the branches of government to what it means to be a great American. Because of all of these things, I would say that while it is a pretty hard topic to wrap your mind around, because you can study it on your own time and you don't need to wait for certain events, or you don't need to spend a super long period of time working on the badge, I'd say that it is a tough B tier badge for sure. Alright, now it might be the moment you've been waiting for in this video, the newest Eagle required merit badge, Citizenship in Society. Alright, here's the question, is citizenship in society difficult? Let's find out. So citizenship in society actually has more requirements than pretty much all of the other citizenship badges. But the thing is, there are knowledge requirements. They're basically asking your opinion on things and to discuss things with people from different cultures. So it's a super important, interesting badge that the BSA added. And I really support their decision to add this badge just because it gives you so much more exposure into the different cultures in our country. It was very much needed. However, it's not too difficult, which is great for the scouts who had this added just as they were about to eagle out. You could actually probably finish this badge in maybe a week or two just by going through the requirements yourself. So because of all of these reasons, I'd say this is an easy C tier badge, possibly the easiest Eagle required badge. However, super important, much needed, so make sure to do your best when doing this badge. Alright, now we have citizenship in the world. In earning your citizenship in the world merit badge, you're going to be learning about a ton of different cultures and customs around the world. And this was a super interesting merit badge for me personally. I earned it at a summer camp because it gave me a great look at just how vast our world is and how many interesting cultures there are. However, is this badge too hard? I would say it used to be the easiest citizenship merit badge, but now citizenship in society is. However, it's still a very easy merit badge, which is why I would rank it to be easier than first aid, the easiest B tier merit badge for sure. But there are quite a few requirements asking you to do research about things going on in the world, seeing some news. So because of that, I'd say that it is an easy B tier badge. Alright, now it's time for badges that mainly are earned by older scouts. We've got personal management, communication, the environmental badges, and family life. Alright, now this is a controversial one. Personal management. Personal management is such an important badge because it'll help you to manage your finances later on in life. And there's a lot of new concepts that scouts aren't too familiar with, like what's a savings rate, what's a CD, how do you make investments, how should you manage a budget? And to top it all off, you're going to need to track your spending for 3 months in earning this badge. So I would have to say, and a lot of scouts have told me that personal management was one of their hardest badges, I'd have to say it is the top of S tier for now. It is actually a super tricky badge, but by putting in a little bit of time to research every night, writing down your answers, you're going to be able to finish this badge in no time, I promise. You just got to stick with it because a lot of times learning is a repetitive process, so you just need to look at the material again and again, and I know that you're going to get it and get so much out of it too, because again, this badge is super important for your real world success, and by learning how to manage your money right from a young age, it'll set you on the right track throughout the rest of your life. So make sure to master this badge, it's a great one. And now we have my favorite merit badge, in my opinion, one of the most important. We got communication. Now with communication, it's actually really tricky if you go all out on the requirements. You're required to give a speech, you're required to plan an event for your troop, you're required to interview people, and just really learn more about the art of communication. Because that's such an important art, and because all of the requirements are so involved, I used to say that communication was the hardest merit badge. Now I'd say that it's about tied with personal management. Both of these are super important badges, so I challenge you to really do your best to get the most out of them and to really study them. These are both super difficult merit badges. S tier for sure, top of S tier. Alright, now we have the environmental badges. First up, we got environmental science. And environmental science is going to have you doing a lot of requirements around how to be a better steward of our environment. You're going to be learning about erosion, you're going to be learning about acid rain, and so much more really cool stuff. But the thing about environmental science is it gives you a choice on what requirements to complete. In a lot of cases, you can do experiments, but you also have easier options like writing reports or looking into topics. So because of that, I would say it is A tier for sure, but one of the easier A tier merit badges if you take some of the less intensive requirements. However, I challenge you, if the experiments sound fun and if you have the time and the space, definitely do the experiments because you're going to learn a whole lot more. All right, and now we have sustainability. Sustainability is just like environmental science in that you're going to learn a lot more about how to protect our planet's resources and learn about the environment. However, the difference with sustainability is that it's a lot more close to home in terms of the projects that you're going to be doing. You're going to learn how to conserve water in your home or conserve electricity. And I think that sustainability is a great badge for any scout to earn just because of its real world applications. And I would say if you were to complete all of the requirements of sustainability, like the project requirements, it could be a bit harder than environmental science if you took the easier routes for environmental science. However, if you were doing the hardest requirements of sustainability and the hardest requirements of environmental science would be a little bit harder on A tier. So they're both A tier, but towards the end of that. All right, now we're on to our final badge. We got family life. Now, family life is a super important badge. I think it's best earned by scouts that are a little bit older because then they can understand their place in their family, as well as understand how a great family works. So later on, when they're older, starting their own family, they're going to have that more top of mind. So the hardest requirement for family life is to track your chores in your family for 3 months. Again, those tracking merit badges are pretty tough. You're also going to have to discuss things with your family and just learn about how to be a better, more contributing member of your own family. However, speaking with your family is more easy because you live with them, I'd assume. So because of that, I'd say that it is the easiest S tier merit badge. Family life is definitely pretty intensive because you're going to be needing to track things for 3 months. But outside of that, it's pretty straightforward and it's a super important merit badge to learn. All right, so there you have it. These are my new 2023 merit badge difficulty rankings. I hope you like this video and I hope it gives you a great idea of what merit badge you're going to earn next. If you have a different opinion, if you feel like some of these merit badges are harder or easier, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your experience on earning these badges, as well as any tips you have for scouts who are in your shoes and looking to earn all of these merit badges to earn their Eagle rank. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like this video. I got a ton more coming your way to help you out on your scouting journey. And that's all for now. Catch you in the next one.